That's right. On Tuesday, also just Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, but it's a lot of twos, you know? The Mob Games YouTube channel released a Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 official trailer. And while it may not have come with a release date, unfortunately, we still had plenty of things thanks to this 1 minute and 25-second trailer. So let's go over them. That's right, we're jumping right back into the world of Poppy Playtime, and Chapter 2 is what we're exploring today. Let's do it. And it's title. While we were originally just calling this Chapter 2, and probably still will, it's interesting to me that the Chapter 2 actually has a name. Like, is this common for indie games? Like, did Bendy's chapters have names when they first came out, or did they just call them chapters 1 to 5? I don't know. Either way, Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 will in fact be called Fly in a Web. Probably a reference to the term fly on a wall, but since the villain of this chapter appears to also be spider themed, that's where the web comes in. Maybe she's watching us the whole time in Chapter 1, or maybe it's a reference to us and we're going to get more backstory to the character we play as, this time around at least. But I'm not sure. It's certainly going to trigger my arachnophobia though. This is like straight up within the first 30 seconds of this trailer, there's a scene with giant spider webs on the wall. Like, you know, the scene with the train thing? Yeah, this is going to be a rough one indeed. I thought the DJ Music Man was going to be bad. It wasn't. But this is probably going to be so much freaking worse, man. Like, oh my god. Like, or maybe fly in a web just means that we're trapped. And at 9, Huggy Wuggies. Yeah, that's right. I said Huggy Wuggies, as in multiple. Surely you'd think that I meant the Huggy at the beginning of the video, but no, not in the slightest. The beginning of the trailer has a Huggy Wuggy doll laying on the ground. Note that it is a doll and not the Huggy that we took care of in the last chapter, since it's the size of 2 floor tiles, the hand is big enough to pick it up, and there is no blood pooling around it. If there was blood, then it would probably have been the doll, which would mean that this villain is ginormous. However, I'm referring to later on in the trailer, around 55 seconds into it, where we see multiple different Huggy Wuggies coming out of the various holes in the wall. Very DJ Music Man style. I don't know why I'm referencing that so much in this video. But in this shot, there are 4 different Huggy Wuggies. A yellow one at the start of the scene, which is the most visible and clearly a Huggy variant. A red one that the player uses their blue hand to smack right in the face, presumably to try to send it back into the pit of hell from whence it came, which actually works. A possibly green one, or maybe another yellow one that gets hit with the green hand, and another blue one that is on the tube above this one. So honestly, these are probably the other experiments referred to in the first chapter. We thought experiments 1001 to 1005 were the other toys, but they were probably just actually other Huggies. And at 8, Poppy? There is a narrator in this trailer as well, someone who's giving us the rundown and telling us that Mommy doesn't like visitors. Damn, Mommy, okay, I see it. She likes to be alone, she likes private time. However, this voice is most likely Poppy, unless it's a character that we haven't been introduced to yet, which is entirely possible, which means that this number is moot. And if it is Poppy, it's confirming the theories that people had after Chapter 1, where we thought that Poppy was going to be a passive and helpful character, unlike Huggy, both due to her willingness to be a toy when she was a human, and her gratefulness at being released from her case. I still think that there is a possibility for a double cross, kinda like Circus Baby style, but to be fair, I thought the same thing with Glamrock Freddy, and he didn't betray us, so perhaps I'm an unreliable narrator. Unless this is a new character though that wasn't introduced yet, this is definitely Poppy, since the villain's voice isn't used until the end of the trailer when she taunts the player, or I guess taunts the audience, but they're different voices, okay? And at 7, Underground. There are a couple clips in the trailer that also appear to take place underground. First, a tunnel made of rocks and stone very briefly, I mean kind of obviously because you know it's underground, followed by a clip of us swinging to another part of the facility while also surrounded by rock. Now, I'm not sure if this is like a fully underground section like we saw in Security Breach after destroying Chica, but it certainly seems like for at least part of this chapter we will be under the Playtime Co facility. It's unclear why we would be going down there, like maybe we fall down there and it's an accident, maybe we go down there in an attempt to escape the Huggy Wuggies, or maybe it was an attempt to escape the main villain of the chapter. Hell, maybe even Poppy tells us that it's a shortcut or something to get out, because if we aren't trying to leave this place and instead continue to risk our lives, what the hell is our character doing? Like, I get that we're probably not trying to leave because, like, you know, it's an indie horror game, but like maybe we are, okay? Maybe we were just supposed to rescue Poppy and that was our goal, instead of trying to figure out what's going on in this godforsaken hellhole. And 6, story hints. This could be me reaching, or maybe the FNAF side of my brain is overanalyzing everything. Yes, at this point, the right side of my brain is just the FNAF side of my brain. But we seem to have gotten some story details, or maybe small enough clues that we might know what's going on in this chapter. In the final scene of this trailer that has, the main villain, the lights are red. And at one point earlier on, during a puzzle, the lights are also red again. There were also multiple red lights throughout this trailer. Now, I might be jumping the shark a bit here, okay? But if the red lights do have meaning, instead of just intended for being menacing, the emergency power in the facility may have started up. Whether it's because Huggy hit something on the way down or because we released Poppy. The start of the chapter may involve having to restore power to the facility, or we may have to reconnect the main power supply or something like that, which could explain some of the other scenes in the trailer like the underground sections. However, since this isn't really a fact but rather an idea based on facts in the trailer, I'm gonna put it higher up on this list. But I think that the whole restoring power thing is a likely idea, especially since after opening Poppy's case the screen went black, which would have blocked the whole emergency power activation thing if it was actually going on, okay? Maybe Poppy was the power source or something. That seems ridiculous, but hey, it's an indie horror game. We know what can happen in those. Halfway through into number 5, Dead Huggy. Now after this trailer has come out, I think it's fairly safe to say that Huggy Wuggy, or at least the one we fought in chapter 1, Experiment 1006, is indeed dead. The symbolism in the first shot of the trailer says it all, unless that's meant to mean that Mommy is going to bring him back somehow. However, it's also worth noting that one of the Huggies that comes after us in the clips I mentioned earlier is blue, so could this be the same Huggy? I don't think so. Okay, if this was intended to be a team effort assault by the Huggies, if 1006 was there, we would be fighting off 6 Huggies instead of 4. So seemingly the only 2 that are missing from this fight are Kissy Missy and 006. Considering how Kissy is missing, get it? I think it's probably because she's either mourning over Huggy or trying to bring him back or something. But at least for this chapter, Huggy is certainly dead. Please don't make Huggy the William Afton of these games, okay? And maybe the assault of the Huggies is actually because of 1006's death, and the rest are mad at us or something. It feels weird whenever I say Huggies, because I feel like it sounds like I'm talking about the diaper brand. Oh no, all the children's diapers are gonna get me, they're so absorbent and comfortable, no! Not sponsored, by the way. Although, Huggies, if you want to hit me up, we can make something work. Coming in at number 4, new toy. Now, I don't know if this was part of the original cast. I don't actually think it was. So we do indeed have a new toy visible at 53 seconds in for a very short time, okay? 27 frames to be exact, okay? So just over a second. And by just, I mean just milliseconds above a second it's visible, okay? It doesn't even feel like a second. And by visible, I also mean it's on screen, since it's hidden in shadows, only able to make out rough shapes and colors. Which firstly, whichever this thing is, it's purple, which is triggering me so hard. So thanks for that, Mob Games. But also it looks like a caterpillar, or something like a caterpillar. If I'm honest, it looks like a purple version of one of those Mario caterpillars that you see on the Mario Kart tracks, the giant ones, you know what I'm talking about? It's like a purple one of those, but smaller and chasing you through a painted cardboard castle wall maze or something like that. I don't really know what's going on here, but unless this is the purple telephone from FNAF 4's room come to life, I'm fairly certain it's a caterpillar. Getting close to the end, and in number 3, puzzles. We also get some glimpses at new puzzles that we'll have to tackle in chapter 2, specifically more electricity puzzles, but seemingly some pattern-based puzzles as well. Within the first 30 seconds, there's a scene of a train with a clock behind it pointing at 9:30, and I don't know if that's a puzzle per se, but it's definitely puzzling me, so I'm counting it. And at around 45 seconds, there is a series of big colored buttons that are most definitely a puzzle, considering how 2 of the buttons are the colors of the Grabpack hands that we currently have. And since this game has really pushed the whole colored hands, opened colored doors, or press colored buttons thing, I guess we'll have to find a way to push the other 2 buttons, unless it's just a code color lock kind of deal, or a memory game. Like I said, there also seems to be some swinging this time around, with various parts of the trailer having bars or rings that we can swing from. Penultimately, in at number 2, Grabpack. Seems like we will be getting a new Grabpack hand in this chapter, since at around 32 seconds into the trailer we see a green hand that replaces the red one from chapter 1. This could be the start of a trend where we get a new colored hand every chapter, which would probably be a yellow hand in chapter 3, so seemingly we lose the red hand for whatever reason, or maybe we need to get rid of it and we pull it off ourselves, but for a very good reason. This new green hand has some seriously cool abilities. Aside from unlocking more parts of this chapter, this hand, unlike the red one, can actually hold a charge. Kinda like not an iPhone. Being able to transfer the power to a receiver without needing a direct connection through you, so that also kinda seems safer. So surely they plan to add some more complicated puzzles using this feature that I cannot wait to try for myself. We're probably going to be getting the hand pretty early on in this chapter, since it would kinda be a seamless way to transition into chapter 2 from chapter 1, so my guess is that we open the section, get attacked by the villain, and then lose the red hand, and then we have to replace it. Apparently, since the blue hand came with the Grabpack, it's the only hand that we're actually going to keep throughout the chapters, which honestly I think is kinda cool. And finally, in at number 1, the villain, Mommy Longlegs. Given that the pink arm of Mommy Longlegs was shown throughout the trailer, as well as the final scene of the trailer being just Mommy, I think it's safe to say that Terrica was in fact correct, and that Mommy Longlegs will be the main antagonist of Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. Mommy Longlegs is a large, slender creature similar to Huggy Wuggy, but with more human-like features and also bearing a resemblance to a spider with light pink skin. Great! She has tangled and noodle-like hair, which is tied into a ponytail using a baby blue hair tie. Her face is decorated with green plastic eyes with 3 eyelashes on each eye, hollow mouths decorated with the pink lipstick, cause you know, of course, toy spiders need to wear lipstick, and she just doesn't have a nose. She also has 2 eyes, luckily only 2. Her body is also composed of a torso and a lower body, which I'm gonna call the thorax because, you know, it's a spider, and it's colored just a slightly darker shade of pink. Unlike a spider though, she only has 4 limbs, all of which are very elastic and bendy in nature. Little is known about Mommy Longlegs except that she speaks in a unique accent and seems to put up a welcoming and friendly front to visitors that stumble onto the ruined toy factory. But other than that, hopefully it isn't terrifying, because when she says it's been a long time, I get very confused and don't know how I should feel. We love us some Mommy and some Longlegs, but combined, I don't know. I'm very confused. At least she doesn't have 8 legs. That's all the time we have for today, friends. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been, and shall remain, Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video, unless Mommy Longlegs calls me over for dinner.